so now that we've gotten through all of the terms-based questions, let's talk a little bit about some of the harder questions that were found in the text. Those first 8, guys, there is no reason you should have missed them. All of them were laid out in the slides that were on the PowerPoint on test day that you were supposed to be using for your notes. So if you got those wrong, please remember to use your resources. So let's start talking about number 9. And through the tunnel, which choice best describes Jerry's feelings when he first encounters the boys diving from the rocks? A lot of you chose A. That was a super popular choice, and that is not the correct answer. The correct answer is D. He is eager for them to acknowledge him, but then he feels ashamed when he fails to impress them. So if y'all will remember at the beginning, he's watching the boys from a distance, and he is wanting them to acknowledge him, to play with him, to do something, and they ignore him. Okay, so then, he tries to dive, and he can't hold his breath as long as those boys can. So he spends days practicing holding his breath, doing all of that, but he's so ashamed that he didn't impress them at first. So that's why he spent the time doing that. So that's why that answer is going to be the most correct. So number 10 is, which is the best example of someone who is beseeching? So beseeching is going to be, it was in the text. This is also going to be a terms-based question. This is going to be an applied term. So beseeching was defined in the textbook on the side. So you guys needed to be able to see that, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this up over here. So the best answer is going to be C. A child begging for a game he has wanted for a long time. So beseeching is kind of like they're begging. So a kid who is beseeching them, they've been bothering them about it for an extended period of time. They've always wanted this game. It might be similar to like when you're at the grocery store and you're in the line and you've got all the candy and the magazines and the cool stuff that's at the grocery store, and you're beseeching your mother to buy that for you. That is what beseeching means, and that is why a child begging for a game he's wanted for a long time is going to be the best answer, or a best example of someone who is beseeching. Which of the following situations could best be used to illustrate the meaning of pestered? Pestered is also going to be in the text, and the best example of the best situation to illustrate the meaning of pestered is going to be, every week Tom asks his neighbor over for dinner until they finally agreed to a visit. Beseeching and pestered are going to be pretty similar. They have very similar meanings. So Tom is pestering his neighbors. He's asking them over and over and over and over again to do that. So that's going to be a pester. The root word of that is going to be pest. If you are a pest, Tom is a pest to his neighbors. So he's asking them over and over and over and over again, and maybe they're trying to be polite. They're telling him no, and then they finally just give in because they've been pestered so hard that they just don't have any choice but to say yes. Okay, so number 12. If someone performs an act of supplication, which of these must be true? Supplication is also a bolded word in the text. So supplication, for this one, the best answer is going to be D. The person humbly begs for a favor. So you guys need to go and look up the definition of supplication in your book. These are included, and these should be really easy answers. Again, this is the number 13 is going to be another terms-based one. In the middle of paragraph 39, the word conscious means. A lot of you said, there was a lot of mixed answers on this one. When you're conscious of something, you're alert and able to think clearly. So I want you to think about the example when someone is knocked unconscious. Say you get a concussion and you are knocked completely out. You are unconscious, meaning you are unalert and you are unable to think clearly. So if you don't know what conscious meant, maybe think about what in context unconscious means. So just think about things like that. Again, conscious was used in context. You have to use your context clues. Not everything is going to be handed to you like some of these terms-based questions have been. So number 14, in sentences 3 and 4 in paragraph 40, which choice best describes the effects of missing time between Jerry's thought of drowning and his clutching the rock? The best answer is going to be, let me double check. It builds suspense and echoes the panic that Jerry feels. So, which choice describes? So, when Jerry is about to drown, you're thinking that he's going to drown. You're not sure if he's going to survive this. So this is how it's building suspense, and it's echoing his panic. When he's thinking he's going to drown, he is panicking. And this is building suspense because you're reading this and you're not sure he's going to survive. Is he going to make it through? Is he going to swim through the tunnel? Is he going to drown? All of these things. So that word choice is going to mimic his panic, and it's building suspense. So make sure that you guys understand that. Number 15, which sentence from paragraph 41 best conveys how Jerry's swim through the tunnel changes him? I think that a lot of you guys got this one wrong, and I'm going to give this one as a freebie because I think that it's kind of hard to understand, and looking back, I didn't really understand it that well either. So a lot of you put, the correct answer was he did not want them, the older boys. So by the end of, after he swims through the tunnel, he's no longer seeking the attention of the older boys. He's kind of more doing it for himself. And a lot of you guys didn't get that right. And I think that that's something that you could pick up if you were paying close attention. But some of the other answer choices are a little bit confusing. So do note that D is going to be the correct answer for 15. A couple of the other answers are similar, but we're going to throw that question out. Everybody's going to get 5 extra points on their test because literally every person in the in-person class missed this question. Every single one. So I haven't graded remote learning yet, or I haven't graded all of the remote learning yet. So I just want you guys to know that that is the correct answer, but we are throwing that question out and everybody's getting 5 points. So the number 16 was to read the following passage and answer the question. So I'm going to let you guys go back and read the passage. I hope you're looking at your test as we're doing this. And what does this passage most clearly suggest are Jerry's reasons for training himself to swim through the tunnel? The correct answer was B. He wants to prove himself to himself and conquer his feelings of shame. So when you read that passage, it kind of wraps up the whole story, and that it kind of connects to question 15. He's no longer trying to impress the boys. He's trying to prove something to himself. So his conflict has gone from external of him wanting to impress those boys to him wanting to conquer something within himself. And he's conquered his feeling of shame. He's no longer ashamed that he couldn't do what those other boys could do. He's proud of himself, and he's wrapped that up really nicely. So that is all for the multiple choice questions. I will be giving feedback if needed on the summaries that you guys had to write, but I wanted to go over some of the multiple choice with you just to make sure that everybody has a good grasp. I'm really proud of you guys. I haven't quite got all of remotes graded, but what I have seen has been really great, so I'm super proud, and we will be doing corrections for this exam. I will be putting out directions for corrections on Wednesday, September 9th, okay? So make sure that you're paying attention for that. We'll have some directions out probably in the middle of the day, and I'm not quite sure how we're going to do those yet, but stay tuned, and I'm really proud of you guys, and if you have any questions, as always, just shoot me an email.